Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Bull Prospecting. So today, what I'm going to try to attempt something that has never been done before. I've been doing a lot of research on this stuff, and I haven't found anybody who has tried this, so I'm going to give it a shot. Now let me explain what I have in mind. Okay, what we have here are flat pack B.G.A chips. Okay, these here in this plastic cap, I'll show you how I pull these off. In this plastic cap is what contains pure gold, pure 24 karat gold bond wires. Some say it's 23K, others say it's 24K, but no matter what, it's pretty pure. So my idea is now, if you look at these flat packs, I'll try to get a close-up of them. Here are these flat packs, right? These guys, I forgot, are like 1.1 their weight in volume or something like that in gold when you take the back off. And so now, here's my idea. You know, because I don't really like dealing with acids. You know, it's not, I just hate it. So I've been trying to come up with ways of refining without, or just getting to it without having to go through all this craziness and stuff like that. So let's get this out of there. Now, when guys process their black sand, they'll get this stuff. It's called Hank Chapman's flux. Let me just zoom that in there. Oops, sorry. Let me see if I can get that in so you can see it. There you go. It's called Chapman's flux, and I got some thinner to go with it. Basically, it's a different mix of borax, silica, soda ash, and manganese. Now, the idea is to create a flux so that if you have any gold in your black sands, you can smelt it, pour it into a cone mold, and it'll drop to the bottom. Now, that's with black sand, right? Black sand is iron, right? It's magnetite. It sticks to a magnet. So it's, in my mind, a nice solid material. Now, here's my idea. Now, if I crunch this black part up, and I'm going to peel this off here to see if I can do it while you guys are watching. Sometimes they're hard to get off. Sometimes they're easy, sometimes they're not. This one was a little easier. Okay, so there it is. There's the separation of the two. You can see here, you can see that gold right in there. Now what I do is you just cut this with some scissors. All right, and that's going to alleviate all this garbage. And then what you do is you just toss this in with your hard foils, and then whatever, when you process them, just, there you go. You can always melt this off if you want to, or scrape it off. But these caps, you need a lot of them to get anything, so that's why I just throw these in with the hard foils, cut off this little corner. And then, so now, here's what we're left with. Here's, you know, the end result. And this is the cap. The Intel cap. And these guys have pure gold inside this plastic cap. Now, here's where my idea comes in. If I crunch this up enough to get it small like black sand, right? And this is a plastic material, and I mix that borax with it, and in the flux, and the Hank Chapman flux, and I go ahead and I smelt it, I should be able to essentially free the gold, liberate the gold from inside this chip, and melt it, and then pour it. If you can do it with black sand, why couldn't you do it with this? It's plastic, you know, it's a lot lighter than black sand. The only thing I could think that may give us a hard time would be the center silicon disc, just because how they create that. But again, that'll be all smashed up into little pieces too, so that may even boost the oxygen levels in the melt. So I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try to weigh out a certain amount of these to see exactly what we can recover, and I'll try to keep them like all the same brand so we can actually figure out what the recovery is and if it even works. So I'm really just, you know, if it's a fail video, I'm sorry, but if it's a win video, we are set. So here we go. Okay, so we got 24 of these bad boys, and you've seen how I pulled the backs off of them. So I pulled the back off of this guy right here, but now I need to pull the backs off the rest of these. So I'm going to pull the backs off the rest of those, and then we'll start crunching it up. Okay, so we have separation. These are the bottoms here. You can see the centers. Like I said, you can just take a pair of scissors and cut the center, cut right around there, and then put those in with your gold foils, and then cut the corner off, and then you can throw the rest in with your tin pile. And then here's our tops. We actually had 25 tops. I must have dropped one, but we got 25 tops here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to weigh these guys up, and I made sure they were all the same brand and same size. So you can see these are all standard residential PC, you know, B.G.As. Then we have 25 of them. One broke when I was taking the back off. So we're going to go ahead and weigh this up and see what it comes to. Okay, so it looks like we've got 1.3 ounces. This did say 1.4. I don't know if it's the pile shifted or whatnot. Okay, there it is. Yep, I got 1.4. Nope, I guess we're staying with 1.3. Okay, we're going with 1.4. We're between 1.3 and 1.4 an ounce is what we have here in tops. So we have 1.3 an ounce in tops, and we're going to see by using the flux and grinding if we can skip a bunch of steps and go right to recovery because of the purity of the gold inside. All right, let's get started. And this is also some of the ore I've collected. This is a chalcopyrite. It's one of those. It's a high sulfide. There is gold in it, but you gotta roast it. And so I haven't crunched this stuff up yet. I got buckets of it. So I just thought I'd show you that stuff. You can see some of the pyrite right here. But let's show you what we got going on. So what I've done here is I've basically just took a piece of 3-inch pipe, 3.5-inch pipe, schedule 40, and I welded it to a flange post. This was actually for a job that was a takedown, you know, probably 15 years ago when I was with a different outfit. And, you know, they were chucking them out. So I was like, yeah, I'll keep one of those, turn that thing into a rock crusher, you know. So you can do sampling. Great for sampling if you think you might have something, you know, near you that's worth crunching up and panning out. And then what I've done is I went and I got a tamp. This is actually an old tamp. And they call it a root bar. One side will have like the root side. You don't see it on this side because I cut it off. And then the other side here is the tamp. And so basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these 25 chips and I'm going to put them in here and I'm going to crunch them up until they match what black sand would look like. And then once I can match up what black sand looks like to this material in here, I'm then going to break out the furnace and see if I can make it happen with some flux and skip a whole step. So here we go. Okay guys, so here it is. It's all crunched up. 25 chips. You can actually see a lot of the gold in it. So what I gotta do here is I have some like a fiberglass that was stuck to the bottom of the chips that I gotta pull out. I just don't want fiberglass mixed in there. I mean, I know I got pretty much the same thing with the silicone chip, but I figure, less debris the better, because this is the chance of this stuff burning up is like slim to none. Let's see here. Everything else looks pretty much good to go. I mean, there's some small stuff, but I mean, for the most part, all the big stuff is gone. Alright, so let's see. I'm going to go ahead and clean off the tip here because I didn't realize that that was magnetized. So we're going to clean this off, and then we're going to get to smelting. See if we can do it. Okay guys, so we have our chips all crunched up. Yeah, it's not exactly the size of black sand, but it's pretty small. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our Hank Chapman's flux, and we're going to add some of that to this. Now first off, what we want to do is we want to have a little mixing unit. So you get yourself a little plastic cup, and what you do is you take your plate like this, pour all your material in there just like so. Give it a little song as you tap it in there. Then next step, your Hank Chapman's flux. Now this is now of course when I opened the bag, I accidentally punctured it, by mistake. So we got to be careful. And here's some thinner. And of course I had to open it from the bottom, of course. And so now let's try to be very careful opening this bad boy. Eventually I'll try to start making my own, but until then I'm going to just use their tried and true sauce. There we go. Now my idea is I can leave the bottom closed and actually go from the top. So anybody that orders this stuff, be very careful when you open it. You don't want to do what I did. You make yourself a bigger mess than you need. So I'm going to have to put this in another bag, obviously. So now here we go. I'm going to go with 1, 2, and then the thinner, I'm just going to do a tiny, tiny pinch. Something like that. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the remnants of this, drop that in there. Let's put our flux back in the bag. Okay, now it's time to mix it up. Okay, now the only thing I can see having a problem with is my crucible. So I may have to do this in a two-shot part as I try to start smelting this stuff. So now let's get the furnace set up. Okay, so we got the furnace set up. We got our crucible. We've mixed 2 spoonfuls of the Hank Chapman's flux and about a little over half a spoon of the thinner. Now we're going to go ahead and dump it in there. Okay, now we're going to put it in here. And now, like I said, my idea is this plastic is should be a lot easier to, melt everything than it would be black sand. So let's fire this bad boy up. I got my cone mold, and hopefully we can pour a little piece of gold. So here we go. Let's fire this bad boy up. Well, after 2 hours, I finally got it melting. It's finally starting to melt, which is huge. And I gotta say, I got a little learning curve with this bigger crucible. Well, let's see if I can get this so I can see if I can show you the liquid. You can kind of see it a little bit in there. There we go. See, it's finally starting to get molten. If this works, this will be a game changer for B.G.A gold recovery. As you can see, I don't know if you'll be able to see that actually, but we are just about molten. And so what I did is I took this iron bar here, and it's galvanized on the outside, and I was using it to skim the top. And if you look, I was able to pull some of that silver and lead off the top. So when I do pour, it should be pretty pure. So this is a really, really good sign that things are working the way I wanted them to. So we're about 3 hours in right now with the melt, and still going. Starting to liquefy, slowly but surely. And what I've done is I took a steel rod, and like I said, I was able to skim some of the silver and lead off the top, so this should come out pretty pure when it's done. But that chirpy stuff right there, I got to figure that out, because that's it shouldn't take this long. Okay guys, here's what we got. I got it melted. You can see all the bubbles in there. Well, what I got to do is I ran out of propane. It was like because I had a different crucible. So what I got to do is just get a fresh tank tomorrow, and then I'm going to try to melt this and then pour it. But we're off to a really good start, and I tell you, this is a game changer, because if this works, this is going to save everybody a ton of time. But look at that, isn't that cool? Looks like a freaking volcano, man. But look at that, it's all liquid. That is a huge accomplishment. Just that alone is huge. Alright, so we're going to keep plugging along. Okay guys, we ran out of propane, had to get a different tank, hooked up the second tank. I added some thinner to kind of loosen stuff up, and I also put some borax around the outside of my crucible because it had a crack on two sides. Luckily I got a small amount in there, so if it did crack, it's not going to crack all the way down where it would hurt the melt process. So right now we're just coming up on hour 4 of doing this. So at the end of the day, if this works, it'll still be faster, and honestly it would probably been a lot quicker if I didn't have all the difficulties I had yesterday. I think if I had them, you know, the furnace all perfect yesterday, I could have done it and could have poured it last night. But here we are. We got some thinner in there, and we're gonna go ahead and let this thing heat up, put the top on, and hopefully be pouring a little 1/4 of a gram here. Okay, if you can see the little blobs, I actually was able to turn the temperature up, and things are starting to bounce around in there and move around and whatnot. So I think I'm going to leave this on. It seems to be starting to finally liquefy. So we're going to leave this on for a little while longer. And hopefully pour a little bead. Okay guys, I poured it. Still really hot. Okay, we're gonna let this cool off and see if we got anything. Okay guys, here's what we got, and I'm hoping that in there somewhere there's a little tiny piece of gold. But that's what we got. So now time to bust this bad boy open and see if we got anything. Okay guys, so what you're seeing now is in that pyramid shape. I didn't get the little bead I was wanting, so I crushed it up, screened it, crushed it up, screened it, until I had it all down to the same size. And I'll show you the screen that I used. So basically, I crushed it, and I ran it through this screen right here until it was all the same size. Just to give you an idea of this screen. This is the one I usually use for everything. So once I got it all this same size, I panned it out and got the gold, and then put it in a crucible and put it on melt. And there's all the gold right there. And me personally, I still feel this is way better, way faster. I used way too much flux. I did 4-to-1. I should have did 1-to-1. I was having a hard time oxidizing and melting, but I'm gonna refine this process and get it down to be a lot faster. But any way you slice it, I feel this is the way to go. So the next one will be pulling that little bead out of there. Oh yeah. Oh man, I'm getting so excited, dude. I can finally see it turn into liquid. Let me zoom in. Let me try to get a spot where you can see it better. You can start to see it liquefying on the top. And that's how you know you're almost there. If I can just get a good picture of it. Zoom out a little bit. see it at the very, very bottom. So hard to see. There we go. There it is. See that top part? That's starting to liquefy. Yeah, buddy! Haha! How awesome is that, dude? Next step is to pour it. Okay, guys, it worked. Out of 25 Intel chips, I got 0.3 grams. Look at that bad boy. Oh, yeah. So my idea works. I can totally skip a step and go right to crunching and smelting. And basically, it's 1-to-1 ratio with the Hank Chapman's flux. So whatever your material is, you need the equal amount of flux. And you're good to go. One thing I did have to do is I did have to crunch it up, pan it out, and melt it again. But I tell you, that was a lot easier than dealing with, you know, acids and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that, man. Pretty proud of that bad boy. That's nice. Trying to zoom in here. Look at that, huh? How awesome is that? Let me set this down so you can see it better. Sorry the lighting's not that great in here. Look at that bad boy, huh? How cool is that? 0.3, baby. Ow! Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one.